We're live. Pile of disappointment tonight, guys. It was going to be good. We were going to be good. Hang on, let me move this in the right spot here. Here. Open up over here. Brandon's here. Jay's here. Oh, close live chat. I don't want to do that. Okay. William Prophet's here. I got my dinner here. Actually, what am I doing here? Pentecost. So I just bought this crank off eBay, and I was going to be like, hey, I'll just show you guys. I got it for cheap. It was like $20. And hey, Larry. So I figured, get it for cheap, $20. I'll just show you guys how to pull bearings off. Hey, Bob. I figured I'd just show you guys how to pull bearings off. No big deal. And we'll assemble the 394 tonight with the new cases. Nope. So the guy on eBay that sent this sent the big end bearings wiped on this. There's a gap. I can see a gap right here in the cage. So there are chunks of the cage here that are missing. Hey, Kevin. Did Dustin show up? I invited Dustin. Just pisses me off. Like the guy literally sent scrap metal. Why would you send scrap metal? So now the kicker here is, of course, that the eBay auction does say as is, and that it's a used crank. So that's true. That's fine. I get it. But this crank wasn't in the pictures. This is not the crank that was actually pictured. So if you're going to send something as is, you actually have to describe the item accurately. And this was not described accurately. So, as it turns out, this was definitely not the crank in the pictures. So I literally have a chunk of scrap metal. So what do? I'm gonna eat my dinner. My wife cooked me an omelet, so there's that. So I can eat my dinner. That's awesome. But I can't put together a 394. Let's see if Dustin wants to. That's what I can't do this without. Oh shucks. I can't. Sorry. Hey, French. You're French. Simone Combi. I'd choke that person. Is it Simon? Simon, you're French. How's it going? So, what's happened here is I've been waiting to get a crank, a 394 crank, so I can put this 394 together. It's this one over here. If you guys can see it, waiting to go. Got all this goodies ready to go. Yeah. Oh, $20. So I'm not too far out of it. So I saw this as a buy it now. I'm like, hey, $20, that's a pretty good deal. I don't care if it's dirty. Doesn't really matter. I can just clean it up. But the big end bearings wiped, so it's literally scrap metal. Larry, there was no point. I mean, that crank is in there is fine, and you know, you can use it, and that's fine. As it turns out, I talked to Dustin Wilt today for a bit, and he has very exciting. Not only, well, I I just chatted with him, and he's got a crank for me, so that's fine. I'll just get it from him. But he also has of interest the intake elbow. So I am going to I purchased that off of him, and then we're going to pursue getting those things 3D printed. Yeah, I know. I'm hungry. It's been kind of a long day, and I was looking forward to putting together a saw for you guys tonight, and it ain't gonna happen. On the upside, what did my wife put in here? Yeah, it's a Husky 394, Simon. Oh, how to determine bad bearing? Well, it's simple. You look in here. Well, let me see if I can bring it closer. And maybe you can see it, maybe you can't. We'll see. Hang on. There, I can see it. Okay. So movement like this is not a big deal. This is a 394, Simon. Let me get a flash. Where's my flashlight? Where's my light? Here it is. That's no good. Battery's dead. Okay. Try again. There we go. Can you guys see? Get a pointer. Hang on. No, it's not blue. It's a matter of the cage in here. Right in here, there's a gap in the cage. Can you guys see it? It's a fine omelet. I got, you know, no complaints there. But there's a gap right here in the cage. Let me see if I can bring you closer. I don't know. Let's see. There. Yep, I had it. So there's a gap right here. There, you guys can see it now. Check that out. There's a gap in the cage. So that's shot. It's just shot. Nothing to be done on that, you know? No, that doesn't look good. Not at all. How many people we got on tonight? 15. Jeez. Okay. Not bad for a Monday night. Watching a guy eat his food. Crank is dead. Yep, that crank's dead. So the guy actually, I mean, if you sell it, I understand selling it as is, but he didn't describe it properly. Just saying it's used. Used and scrap metal are two different things. That's scrap metal. So if there are cracks in the cage, no good. It's shot. So maybe I'll ship it back to the guy. What have to get your money back? Hopefully he will give me my money back and I don't have to ship it back. But if I got to ship it back, I'll ship it back, and then I'm shipping scrap metal. You know? Whatever. Yeah, the cage just holds the bearings equidistant apart from each other. That's really what the cage does. The bearings themselves take the brunt of the force, not the cage. But if there's pieces missing, there's pieces missing. That means there's going to be more pieces missing. And pieces in a motor is bad. Maybe. But I guess Dustin to the rescue on this, so... Oh well. Thanks to Dustin. I don't know if he's watching. Hope he's watching. Well, I was ready to go. I mean, I ordered this on the 19th. This was ordered. I ordered it on the 19th. The guy said he actually got it to the post office on the 23rd. They didn't scan it until the 25th. And the 25th, it finally went out, and here's the 28th today, is when it showed up. So I bought it on the 19th, and it showed up on the 28th. I think that's pretty crappy overall. That falls under crappy service. It's a long wait for junk. Yep. I was all ready to do the build tonight. So, Bob, you have a 395? Nothing wrong with that. Other than the fact it's not a 394, you know? I don't know, guys. I'm kind of pissed. Well, we'll see if he just offers me my money back and tells me to keep it. That would probably be best case scenario at this point. If he says hell no, then ships it back. That's fine, but he literally shipped scrap metal. So, omelet, yeah. Clean the dust off the tag? What tag? That's a ham and cheese omelet. There's actually asparagus in here, onion, tomato, I think, American cheese. It's terrible, guys. Really, you don't want it. Oh, off the VIN number. Yeah. Just ketchup, but some hot sauce would go good on here. Take care, Simon. I'm sorry to be boring tonight. Thank you for coming by. I was going to have a build for you, buddy, but I'm sorry. It'll be later in the week, I guess. Sucks. What the heck else is going on tonight? I don't know. Gotta go back upstairs and have another cup of coffee. The That poor steel. My 660 clone over there is leaking bar oil all over the basement. Hey, Kevin. Steve Small just did his first live chat today. He's been watching you, no doubt. You think? That's cool. Just had breakfast, making me hungry. Adirondacks, yeah. Dustin, I talked to Dustin Wilt today, and he's hooking me up. So I'm good. So we're all gonna have a big thank you to Dustin at the end of this, I'm sure. Um, Larry, I bought a snowmobile engine 5 years ago. A guy straight up ripped me off. I drove to his house, kicked the living out of him because he told me there's nothing I could do about it. Yeah. Always nice to to be able to do that. Actually, there's a great story on OPE about that. It was on the off topic forum, and it was something having to do with an ex friend. So if you go to the OPE, I think it's the off topic forum, and it was something to do with an ex friend, and it says something about an ex friend not by choice. It's a great read if you ever get a chance to go through it. It was a great story. Where are you going to get a crank from now? Well, you can get them on eBay. It's possible. The 394 cranks are not that far. I mean, not that difficult to get. I'm pretty sure they're compatible with 288. It's the same crank as the 288, so it's fairly popular, but they are not available aftermarket. 394 cranks. Mate with 394 flywheels, 395 cranks, mate with 395 flywheels. 395 cranks are available aftermarket. 394s, I believe, are not. So, not a small guy, 6'3", 345. See, Larry, that's the problem. I'm kind of a small guy. And I'd like to drive out to Ohio and get my money back from Kelby. But, and there's a certain porter in Missouri that owes me a lot of money, too. Well, in another life. Just tuned in. Gavin, I was sold a crank on eBay that is essentially scrap metal. So I paid $20. The price was right, assuming the crank was just dirty. The price was great, but it's actually scrap metal, the big end bearing shot. And if you go back in time a little bit, you'll see that I zoomed in on it for you. Well, $20 I don't rightly care about necessarily, but that's more principle than anything. Probably it was a pain in the ass shipping. That was a problem. I ordered on the 19th. It got here on the 28th. That's kind of crappy. So there was that, and that's at least partly the post office to blame, but technically from the time they scanned it to today is not too bad. So, but it supposedly took them 2 days to scan it. I don't know. James, they got to re-break your ankle and reset it. Yikes. You lost the big end bearing, Gavin? I'm trying to think if I've ever seen a big end bearing on a 394 that I pulled apart. It was bad. I don't think so. I don't think I've ever seen a big end bearing that was bad. No, not good times, James. Not good times. I feel for you, buddy. I feel for you. I'm sorry. Mm. So, oh well, this is just stupid. Obviously, when I hear from the guy back, I'll let you guys know what's up. Saturday is a big junk sale for chainsaws. Where? Well, he wasted the time, wasted the post office's time shipping scrap metal, Wasted 9 days for me. The area on the pin bearing was purple. Yeah, well, something was binding, something was out of spec somewhere. This isn't even purple. This is just shot. How many people do we have watching? Who's here? I'm trying to look over here. 13. Okay. Pretty good. And shitty oil, yeah. Well, the one 372 crank that I saw that was expanded, that moved on the pin, literally the seal on the clutch side was no longer fitting there in the pocket, and all the rubber was gone. The air leak on that thing was massive. So it over revved, and that's when bearings move on pins, I guess. So, Brandy, you gonna go pick up some goodies? Dude West, how's it going? We're here bemoaning a crank that got shipped from eBay. It was junk. Like, straight up junk. I was gonna put together a saw for you guys tonight, but crank's junk. So, I gotta get one from Dustin. Right, well, it's one thing if the crank was dirty, the big end bearing's intact. If the crank ate itself after, an hour or whatever, you could certainly claim that it was as is. That would make sense. Oh, shoot, I'm not responsible. The crank ate itself, Can't go back to the seller. But selling straight up junk is different. And of interest, that crank was not the crank that was in the photographs. And there were actually 2 photographs of the crank, and neither of the photographs are the same crank. How's that for interesting? Go get some goodies, Brandon. Go have fun. Bob, if you want to ship it, let me know. You need me to fix something, just let me know. Cool. All right, Terry still watching you cutting with your 390 makes one. Terry, you got a point. I'll tell you what, if I had to pick a favorite between the 394 and my 350s, I'd probably pick the 394. I love my 350s, the 346s, and all that size of saw, and I like my 372s just fine. But the 394, I think, is my real favorite. It's fun to run. Craig said break at work. Well, Craig, I got sold a crank that has a bad big end bearing. Like the cage is missing. A chunk of the cage is missing. This is the seller was K Griffs on eBay. But Terry, yeah, I mean, Terry, I have two 394s for sale. If you want one, just let me know. Craig, I don't know. I don't know if he's going to make it right. I I had an issue with shipping initially because I bought it on the 19th. It's the 28th. It just showed up tonight. So, it finally got scanned first on the 25th. So it made it here from Bend, Oregon, made it here the 28th. That's not too bad. So I can't complain about what the post office did, but supposedly he dropped it off at the post office on the 23rd, and it took them 2 days to scan it. That I'm not so sure about. The wife heard that. Terry, I've got lots of saws for sale. Cheap. Yeah, the power on a 394 is just killer. I love how they start. It's so smooth. Um, they sound so aggressive and mean. The difference between that and a 395 is a lot smoother than a 394. The power delivery is very very smooth, much more like running a Cadillac. A 390 it just feels like you just want to cut like butter through the wood. But a 394 like feels like it's just going to tear the tree down. It just wants to tear it down. It's a bit of a different thing. Well, go find some deals, Brandon. Just don't spend too much money. Stack them deep, sell them cheap. Well, don't worry. These 394s that I got aren't cheap. Yeah, Larry, you're probably right in the sense that the 395s the power delivery is very smooth. Um, there's no question about that. I just conceptually, I think I like the intake block design better than the boot. I just do. I don't even know when my battery's going to run out here on this other phone. It's entirely possible that it will. So my omelet's pretty good though. Yeah, Larry, I like a 32 or a 36 on the 394s. Yeah, I actually I like the 28 on the 660s. On the 660 clone, the 28 seems to be just right. If I'm going to run a bigger bar, though, 394. And milling there for dessert. No, no dessert. Well, maybe, but and milling, I had a 42-inch bar, and that seemed to do fine there too. Dessert. Hang on a second. Don't tell anybody, okay? Healthy Coca-Cola. It really isn't too bad. If I'm going to use a 24, I'm right with my 372. You know, 372, 24-inch bar, good. I've run 32-inch bars on the 372s. It does work, but I really think if I need a 24, I'm going to grab a 372. Or if I want a 20, I can grab my 272, which is fun. My 262, which is good with a 20. Or my 372 with an 8-pin rim. The as-is saw is quite good with a 20. And then, of course, smaller than that is my 350s or 346. Brandon, you miss it? No, you didn't miss anything. You're good, man. Actually, I have no idea when this battery's going to die. Why do I have a clone when I have all those 394s? It's a good question. Because I haven't sold it yet. I don't know. I wanted to put one together. I want to see what it was all about. Remember, Edwin, like a lot of the stuff I've done on the channel is really like to show you guys kind of what's what. You know, I've gone out and bought all kinds of stuff just for the hell of it to show you guys instead of necessarily trying to make a profit on it or use it myself. I don't even need my 394s really. I have half an acre, so I don't necessarily need all the saws that I have. I did them because it's habit, but also because I kind of want to show you guys certain things, and because I find them cool myself and all that stuff. It all kind of goes together, you know. And the 660, I wanted to see what the kit saws were about, what Walter was talking about, and I also kind of felt like I really should do the bolt for bolt stuff for you guys because nobody else does that. And nobody else does it like I do it. And the way that I do it is super boring, but hopefully it's helpful to at least some people, you know? Craig, do you have an 070 clone? Or is that a genuine article saw? I saw you running your 24404 on that 576. See, I'm not sure, like, for me, I've run the bigger stuff, and I just don't see the point of anything that's beyond a 394. Like, not here in Connecticut, anyway. And, you know, even down in Oklahoma, they have good-sized trees there, but nothing beyond what a 394 can do. So I've run a 3120. I've run even the big Dolmars. I still like my 394s, you know? Just had to have it, huh? Brandon, just get the clone saw. If you want to get a feel for it, get the clone saw, you know? Bob, if you need that 395 worked on, let me know. You can tear it apart and put it back together, you know? Brandon, you can always swap out OEM parts if you want to. It's a clean build, or you can buy them built, you know? Passed up the 3120, went and bought a new 562 XPW. I'm sure the 3120s, you know, are great saws for what they do. If you're running a 50-inch bar or more, fine. Then 3120 is going to be the ticket. I can run a 42 with my 394s. How much bigger do you really need? Craig, you take care. Enjoy your evening. Yeah, when I talked to Dustin today, he's like, I got three. He says he has 6 394s. I'm like, yeah, I'm probably about there.